Turf today. Get up and brush off the dew on that. Turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that. Turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Set up, they about to come through on that. Turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hello everyone, welcome back to Turf Today. I'm Adam Kershane, joined as always by Brian Laurent. And this week we're talking turf with Anthony Angelis, better known as Turf Boss online. He's the superintendent at Granite Ridge Golf Club in Milton, Ontario, where he manages a 36-hole, busy public facility. We dig into Anthony's journey through the industry, all the challenges of running a large operation, and why authenticity matters in this line of work. And when we start this episode, there is a little spoiler if you have not seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet. Watch out for that when we start talking about that. Other than that, we wanted to shout out all of our sponsors lately have been killing it online with everything they've been doing through their marketing and with helping us on the podcast. We're so grateful to be supported by such amazing partners, and we can't wait for the future of what our partnerships hold. We also want to see you all wearing the Turf Today logo, so hit up turftodayshop.com. A lot of great stuff on there and some flat rates for shipping all over the world. Turf Today is recorded on the Superintendent Network and is brought to you by Toro. When the sun rises over a golf course that's still wrapped in morning dew, Toro is already there, helping you craft every cut, every roll, and every perfect green. For over a century, Toro has stood beside those who shape the game from the ground up. This isn't just equipment, it's a partner in the pursuit of excellence. From the first pass to the final mow, Toro delivers precision, reliability, and the power to inspire. Always solving, always evolving.
5 months away from Christmas, basically. So
6 months away from conference.
yeah,
There you go. Man.
God, that's scary.
Well, it means we're enjoying our time, right? If time's flying by, that means you're having
Yeah.
fun, as they say.
Absolutely.
Taking lots
No
of
one's
pictures,
having more
lots of
fun.
memories.
You enjoying it with the fam? You getting out with the kiddos?
We've been trying to. We've
Yeah.
been trying to. Our kids are pretty busy. You know, little 4-year-old boy's probably be an athlete of some sort one day. He's got a lot of energy. Like, you just look at him at the end of the day, and it's like, how are you still going? Like,
Yeah.
how are we still doing this?
That's it.
But no, it
You
keeps
think
us going.
they think they're going to wear themselves out, and they just keep going.
It's unbelievable, and I'm sure we were like that when we were younger too. Our parents probably just looked at us like, "Did you just sit down? Like, just take a break."
Oh,
It's been fun. I was gonna ask you, have you watched Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
Not yet. No. Have you?
Yeah, we watched it that Friday night it came out. We were pretty excited. My wife hadn't seen the original, so we had to watch that on the Thursday night and then sat down and watched the new one on Friday, which a lot of people didn't like it just because it's obviously hard to remake or make a sequel to one of the greatest golf movies ever made.
Right.
But no, I still thought it was great and a lot of a lot of good cameos, a lot of golfers in it, a lot of callbacks. His whole family's in it, which would have been a kick for him to get to film that whole thing and
Oh.
be with his family and stuff. So I enjoyed it. Thought there was some
That's
nostalgia.
awesome.
Is it a great movie? No. Like the writing and the actual like movie itself, no. But it's Happy Gilmore. Like it's
The
you're
plot
watching it
line
forever.
isn't remarkable.
Yeah, I thought the first half was pretty good, and then you get to the end and you're just like, what is going on here?
That's what everyone. That's
it's
what I've
happy.
read. That's
Yeah.
that's the main thing I've read is like the first half of the movie is great. The end of the movie is just like, what on earth is happening?
It
So
just got a little
uh,
wild, but
yeah. Well, it's funny too. I was watching or looking through LinkedIn and some other social accounts, and sounds like LeBar Golf played a pretty big part in kind of creating a bunch of the golf sets and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty neat. I mean, they're the one of the bigger construction companies in our industry, and so it was really kind of cool to see them. That would have been a fun project for those guys to be involved with. So we should maybe try and think about getting someone on that was a part of that.
Absolutely. That'd be really good. I know Tanner Kaufman from the TGL there. I know
TGL.
I think he posted something just shouting those guys out. And he was like, don't forget though, who had the original rotating green, which you're going to have to watch the movie to get that. But yeah,
I was gonna say you just gave some away.
spoiler alert. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. But yeah, he was just poking fun at those guys, but also, kind of saying what a great job they did. And it was cool that they had a hand in
Yeah.
the movie. There's so much golf stuff that was involved in what they had and all the players. It sounded like they almost had Tiger too. It didn't work out with his schedule.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there was 29 golfers they asked to be in the movie, and they got 27 of them. Like
Oh wow.
Phil and Tiger were the only two that didn't get their way in there, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
They have to do with the divot heard around the world.
No. What's that? I haven't heard that one. It hasn't made it to me yet.
No way. Well, we posted on Turf today a picture of a hole with a divot like beside the hole, like into the cup.
Oh.
One probably the most disgusting divots I've ever seen in my life. And
Oh
so we
man.
posted it just to be like, hey, this is, probably one of the worst ones we've ever seen. And there was like a fight in the comment. People are going crazy because some people think it's the greenskeeper that messed up the hole, and some people think it's the golfers that took a chunk out of the green. So it became a very kind of controversial post. Golf Gods shared it. It was shared by a whole bunch of different golf accounts and stuff. So it turned into a bit of a viral post of some asshole taking a divot right out of the cup. Like, talk about ruining it for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So
Did you get the origin story from it? From whoever posted it originally?
it was at our golf course.
Oh, it
I
was?
rolled up to the green, and all my kids are standing there staring at the spot on the green, and I'm like, oh, there's probably a dead animal or something. Like, what's going on here? And I pull up, my roller comes running over. Adam, somebody took a divot out of the green. I'm like, yeah, it's a public golf course. Happens. Probably had 5 or 6 already this summer. And he's like, no, into the cup. Like, come and look at this. So we go over, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it was like funeral quiet. We're all just looking at this Monday morning. Well, it's good to see the staff really cares, but yeah, it's a tough one. Traveling's been good. The road's been treating you well.
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. Key West Monday, Detroit Tuesday, Dallas Wednesday, leave for Indiana here pretty much when we wrap. And then Sunday to Bandon Dunes for the US Women's Am.
Which is going to be
So
awesome.
yeah, I'm excited for that. I've been there once before. It's absolutely beautiful, so I can't wait to get back and check it out. And then home for a day and Baltimore for the BMW.
Yes, sir. It's a busy man over the next couple of weeks. How do they decide at
Yeah,
Bandon, or I guess not decision, but which course is it that they play the big tournaments at?
I honestly think it kind of flips around.
Does it? Yeah.
I think I believe they're using the Bandon Dunes course next week. But I swear I've seen them host stuff at like Pack Dunes and some of the other sites. I mean, they're all really good golf courses. So I think pretty much any of them could host something. I think Old Mac might not host anything like any big events like this, maybe just because of the distance. I think the length of that course isn't, I don't think it's an overly long golf course, but I could be way off. I haven't played it, just been kind of just walked around it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I don't, those types of things, I'm sure the USGA has a lot more say than the facility itself, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's about having the space. If you have the space, there's a lot of different
Yeah.
courses out there that could host it,
Yeah.
Just got to put the
Well, and
time
like
in.
for an event like the women's am or even the US am, the men's am, and some of those, you don't need as much gallery space. So
It's true.
some of those smaller venues can hold it. That's not as many spectators. You don't need as big of merchandise tents and refreshment areas and stuff like that. You can get by pretty low key. So it opens up a lot of other venues with the ability to host it.
There he is.
Hey,
How you doing, gentlemen?
great. How you doing?
Good, actually. We're actually having our staff barbecue today. I slipped away and I told her, I put a sign up in the hallway saying, please don't make any noise, recording in progress.
Here you go.
I
So
love it.
Got to tell us about that nickname. How does that nickname even come about?
it's hard for me even to remember. It came about probably when I was at Innisfil Creek. I spent a long time there. And I think I just had a staff of about 20 people, and probably nine of them were girls, and the staff was probably average age was probably 19 to 23 probably. And it's just something that just stuck. Someone said it one day and it just stuck. Like someone's like, "Oh, they used to call me boss," and I hate when people call me boss. Like I don't know why. I never liked being called boss, and I guess they played on that. And one of my staff said turf boss, and then it was contagious. I guess the rest of it it
That's
stuck with
awesome.
me now. So.
So you got to introduce us to the turf dog behind you there. See him.
So this is Jolene, but now she's shy.
Jolene.
Come here, maybe I can get her on the table here. Come here, Joe. So
Oh, there we go.
there you go. So yeah, that's Jolene. So she's only 2, but she's a really, really good bird dog, and she's pretty ferocious out there. So she's a really good. She's an employee really more than she's my dog.
That's awesome. Is she a pointer?
Yeah, it's a German pointer, and yeah, it's like I mean the geese don't stick around very long with her out there.
No,
Like
no, she's patrolling the area.
yeah, she's pretty good. She swims like Michael Phelps. You should see her out there. Incredible, relentless.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be one of those great like pros versus Joes things, Michael Phelps versus a turf dog. That'd be great.
Yeah.
In his prime, though, we need him in his prime. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be,
Yeah, that's right. Not sinking 100-foot putts on the golf course.
no, exactly. Yeah.
Why don't you take us back to the start, getting into the industry, growing up with the game, that type of thing. Just tell us a little bit about your career.
My turf journey isn't as linear as probably some of the other guests you guys have had on. Like, my family is originally from the Danforth, which I don't know if you know Toronto. It's a little Greek community on Toronto's East End, and so my family kind of started a new life for us up in Gormley, Ontario, which is a small community in Toronto's periphery. And that area, I don't know for sure, but that area is probably, as far as I know, one of the highest geographic concentrations of golf courses around. Like many of the golf courses are back onto one another. There's a huge cluster of club link golf courses. So right across the street from the house, there's a golf course called Gormley Green Golf Course. And I was about 14 years old, and my dad just said, you know what, you got to get a job, and you got to get a job somewhere where you don't need to drive because we didn't have a car. So my dad said, you're going to go get a job at the golf course across the street. So I walked over there and I applied to the turf department. And the golf course had actually been newly acquired in a group acquisition by ClubLink, where they purchased, I think, 6 golf courses at once. I don't quote me on that. I know that Station Creek, which was Gormley Green, was the one that was one of the first ones that got kind of amalgamated into the ClubLink family. And yeah, so I worked there for a summer, and I met my mentor Jake Rixtons, and worked for him. And I just started, really basic in the bunkers, and doing, nominal tasks on the golf course, and got bit by the bug, I guess you could say. And I worked there for him, and he had a really military approach to golf course management, really structured, really organized, and it was infectious. Like I knew right away, basically, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know for sure for a living, but I knew for, the undecided future that I'd be working at a golf course. So I've jumped around a lot. Like I'll give you the broad strokes, but I worked with him for quite a bit of time over there. And then in the meantime, I was now fast forward. I worked there for probably 3 years. And I went to school. Now I was in university age, and I went to school for broadcast journalism at York, if you can believe it. And
I can. You're very well spoken.
Yeah,
You're great
yeah.
in front of the camera.
thanks. So yeah, so I went to school for broadcast journalism, and then somewhere along the way, I realized that, because I'd been working at the golf course every summer, and somewhere along the way, I realized, I think there's more of a career for me in turf than there is in broadcasting. I got a little bit discouraged by a couple of the roadblocks that were in the way, because in broadcast journalism, you have to do a lot of internship, unpaid internship, before you can even get ahead. So Yeah, being discouraged by that, and then also the positivity of actually being in the golf business at the same time really helped kind of propel me towards taking a major in turf. So that's what I ended up doing, switching majors to turf. And yeah, so I worked there. Yeah, I worked for in turf for quite a while with Station Creek at Station Creek, and then my mentor went on. Actually, he told me what I should do is probably see how other organizations are run. So I went and worked at some private clubs in the area. I went to Magna Golf Club, which is not too far away from Station Creek. It's probably about another 10-minute drive. So I took a job at Magna Golf Club, and I got to see, what that organization was like, and it was just night and day, like 60 plus people on staff. Just, really well-oiled machine with Superintendent Wayne Rath at the helm, who's a guy I really, really look up to in this business. And I got to learn a lot from him. So I worked for him for a little bit. And I tested the waters at other golf courses too. I was always pushed to try and see how other operations work, and kind of, gather my own skill set from some of the best in the business. So Wayne was one of them. And then I went and worked for Larry Allen, as another veteran superintendent, I'll call him, at Meadowbrook Golf Club, which is also very local to Station Creek. And I worked for him for a couple of years and learned a lot about spraying and how to do in-house projects on a real tight budget. It was a private club, but a real blue collar private club on a tight budget. So he was a type of guy who showed me how to work, how to build T decks on with nothing and no resources. And he was the type to take on a major project on his own, and I mean on his own, like one person taking on these projects. So yeah, I have a pretty extensive experience just moving around within the private sphere, and then an opportunity came up for me to actually go back to ClubLink and work with my original mentor, Jake Rixtons, again, in building a golf course called Windance Golf Course. It's in Uxbridge. So I actually followed him, and I got to see what construction was like and be part of it from beginning to end. So right from, moving earth with bulldozers right to growing in the golf course, which was, I didn't know at the time. I thought that was going to continue to happen forever, but that was one of the last golf courses that I was part of building from scratch anyway. Yeah, so I worked with Jake for a while on that project from beginning to end. And then after that, I went on to, they started a program called the Aspiring Golf Course Superintendents Program, and it was within ClubLink, and it was initiated by the director of turf operations. His name's Andrew Keffer. And what
Beauty, by the way.
You guys have met him? Yeah, or talked to him? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So he started that program, which was it was short-lived, but he gathered a few guys that he knew that wanted to make careers out of being superintendents, who wanted to be golf course superintendents. So he, I guess, called around to different golf courses within ClubLink and found me and a few others, and started this construction crew, you'd call it. And we would travel to all of ClubLink's golf courses doing renovations. So we did Kings Riding, King Valley, Diamondback. And then I did one called Bethesda Grange. It was called Rolling Hills Golf Club, but we did a couple $1 million renovation to it, and kind of made it more of a ClubLink golf course you'd be more familiar with now. We had, did extensive bunker renovations, drainage renovations, irrigation install, and stuff like that. And I got to work with a guy named Paul Takahashi. He's an architect. I don't know if he's still a practicing architect anymore, but man, I'll tell you, they were so hard on us. Like the construction end of the business was something that I experienced at Windance, but I had never experienced, that in depth, being that involved. Because I kind of went from just a construction foreperson to construction supervisor within that role. And man, today's work culture is nothing like that. Like that was, they were incredibly hard on us. I remember seeing 3, 4, 5 people get fired right in front of us. Like, public firing, public humiliation. But you know what? It was a great tool in making us better at what we did. Like because they were so strict on us and so hard on us, it made us better operators. It made us better at what we did. I know it sounds ridiculous by today's standards, but it really helped me kind of push me forward in this. My work ethic completely changed. I thought I had great work ethic before I worked for them, but I didn't apparently. So, and I would go home at night and punch holes in the wall because I was so frustrated with with working with, working in such a high stress environment, but prepared me for today. So yeah, I worked with them for a while, and then after that, the company, I guess they went separate ways with Paul. And then I had no choice but to find a job in construction still. So I took a job with a company called Evans Golf. We built Lebovic Golf Course, and then the company went bankrupt. So I had to look for jobs in turf after as a superintendent, which was the ultimate goal. So
Not a bad fallback.
Yeah, no kidding.
honestly, it went well. Like at first, I was so it was tough adjusting back, like going back to turf because my expectations after had been like, I mean, construction, you have a little bit more of a cowboyish attitude towards the work you do. And then you go back and it just doesn't, it seems like everybody's lazy when you go back. I don't want to sound like, too harsh, but it just seems like, no one was keeping up with that type of pace that I expected. Right. So I took a job at a place called Harmony Creek Golf Center. It's in Oshawa. And I was actually told by my mentors early on, like, if you want to be a golf course superintendent, you can't be at a private club forever. You got to go work at a club where everything's your problem. And if there's a piece of garbage on the ground, it's your problem. If, the image of the property is not right, you're the guy who's got to change it. And, I can't think of a better place than Harmony Creek Golf Center to have done that to me because I had to cut greens while changing holes and holding a bunker rake. Like I had to do everything basically. I had 3 employees plus me. It was misery, but it was an amazing starting. I wouldn't change anything. If I had to rewrite the story, like I wouldn't change. I would have done the same thing because, and I'm not going to knock private golf club superintendents because, I came from there and I have a lot of friends, close friends in that business, but some of them don't get the experience of, a nozzle breaking off your sprayer on the green and, green dye going all over the green, and having to fix something or a hydraulic brake or something that's happening that's really pressing that you got to fix without the resources to do it with. So it really prepared me. And they were difficult ownership, like a very difficult ownership to work for. So that prepared me too for like any type of ownership, and everything else was a breeze after that. Like it really wasn't. That didn't last very long there. I did 1 season there. I spent twice what they allowed me to spend in budget. So yeah. So, and I knew what I was doing while I was doing it. So like I spent a lot in the season that season. The membership started, thanking me, like, the places never looked better. The place is looking incredible. And, all the work, we were validated for what we were doing. It felt good. But I knew that it wasn't like, I knew that I was causing issues. So by the end of the season, actually, a sales guy came up to me, Mark McIver from All Turf, and he said, your job's being posted. And I said, no,
wait, what?
I didn't. I said, but I'm not surprised that it's being posted. Like I know that I've been spending too much, and I'm not the type of guy to go in and save you guys money. I'm the type of guy to change the image of the golf course, and I've always used the term. And I wrote it to you guys earlier, FTO, and it's failed turf operations. And I think it's unfortunate, but I kind of made it a name for myself in the business of taking over from failed turf operations and trying to turn them around rather than places where the key's already in the door and all I had to do was turn it, right? So Harmony Creek was definitely that place. And so yeah, Mark McIver came up to me and said, I know that your job's being posted for, how would you like to take a job in Innisfil? Place is called Innisfil Creek Golf Course. So I'm from the GTA. I Googled where Innisfil Creek was because I had no idea where Innisfil was. So I Googled it, saw where it was, and it was about half an hour from the city. And I just said, yeah, sign me up. So I ended up in another failed turf operation situation there. It had been not like there was a really great superintendent there for 15 years before I got there, an incredible guy named Bob Rossi, who I still talk to regularly. But he was at the tail end of his career, he was approaching 70. So, and the ownership had not given him much rope to work with when he was there. And one of the advantages, I mean, aside from Harmony Creek to taking over a place like that, is that there's a honeymoon phase where they let you kind of do what you want to do because they want to kind of see the golf course go forward too within reason. And the ownership there was tremendous, man. They were great guys. Like a great guy to work for, and it was a one owner show. So if I wanted something, I just called him. I need a new fairway unit. It's either yes or no. Like it wasn't. I didn't have to approach a board to wait for an answer. It was like an over the phone conversation. So, but Innisfil Creek was very much my the biggest contributor to my career, I think, after Harmony Creek, and I spent 9 years there. Took it from a very modest golf course, and I think they were about $40 a round when we started there. And by the time I had left, they were about 75 or 80, if I'm not mistaken. So they went up significantly in green fees and in rounds because the reputation started to improve pretty quick, and it didn't take much. It wasn't like, you know, it's funny. The little things are all really. And I know that in your last podcast, I was listening to the Ashley boys talk and about their new spot. And it doesn't take much to really change the image of the golf course around, especially if it's been left kind of on it to its own devices for a while. And that's kind of where Innisfil was. There was some major construction that needed to be done, which was right up my alley, but really just a proper like nutrition program, making sure the greens were fed properly and on time, and then a disease management program, really bare bones one. And then the ownership there didn't really have like crazy expectations for us. So it was a good opportunity for me to make mistakes and, accidentally put 3 bags of ferrous sulfate in the tank instead of one, like something like that. But like, it was just an opportunity for me to kind of make mistakes and not be on stage while doing them. Right. And the ownership was they were like hands off. So it was really cool. And they let me increase the budget, increase the amount of people. I started walking the greens instead of riding them. So I had to hire 4 people instead of 1 to do the job. So, just little things, but it was very, very much the most exciting part of my career from my late 20s to my mid 30s. So yeah, I had an amazing time there. And unfortunately, Innisfil Creek ended up actually closing its doors. So I had to move on from Innisfil Creek, which was hard. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a golf course during its closing or gone back to visit it as it's been closed. But I actually stayed on a consultancy basis with Innisfil after they'd closed. And then, man, was it ever painful to go back and watch your golf course grow in? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, imagine watching your greens go knee high. Like,
it's weird.
Yeah, it was really weird, especially since the last year I was there, they let us put like 100,000 onto. We did $100,000 job on one of our holes, number 7, and we converted a waste bunker into a fairway, and just a huge project, drainage, and irrigation install and bunker reno, and it was like we closed 6 months or 8 months later. It wasn't seeing it coming, so it's kind of strange.
We are back with PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons for another segment of Ask the Agronomist. Today's question comes in from Jammin' Spake. What is the best variety of Bermuda for greens?
Well, thank you again, Adam, for having me on the show again. And that's really a great question. So when it comes to putting greens, especially when I think about warm season climates, really ultra dwarf Bermuda grass varieties have kind of been the go-to standard, for quite a while, and for good reason. Now, when you say the best one, I think a lot of that probably goes into, where are you located in the South? And then you also have to think about things like, what's your budget, your maintenance intensity, and really what are you aiming for in terms of the surface that you're going for, in terms of ball, roll, and speed and density and just the turf resilience overall, because that certainly is going to play a factor in what cultivar that you might want to select. But, there's been a few of them been widely out there and used a lot for quite some period of time and have been proven to be great ones. One that comes to mind is Tiff Eagle. was obviously developed at the University of Georgia and has been, well known for its fine texture, and its ability to perform at those ultra low mowing heights that you're going to want on a putting surface. And then a couple other that I know are used out there in quite a bit of frequency are also Mini Verde and also Champion, and again are really well known for being able to take aggressive inputs, which is really important when you're managing ultra dwarf varieties. So that's really the list for those. I know certainly you asked about putting greens, but obviously I would have probably a little bit different list if we were looking at fairways and some of the other areas on the course. But there's a lot of great breeding programs going on still out there, and I think you're going to continue to see more varieties that show up. Really, a lot of the breeding programs are still focused on trying to get that smoothness and that really high ball speed, but also continuing just to lower your input needs overall into the turf and how much fertilizer and water that you have to use. So keep an eye out. But I think when I think of ones that are proven or out there on the market right now, one of those three is probably a fantastic choice for you.
Yeah, and we hear a lot about those three on our show, and they seem to be very proven. And like you said, when you move to a fairway or a tee where you're taking a divot, things are a little bit different there. So it's good to hone in on some specifics here. Well, this wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons.
It sounds like you take a lot of pride in taking on those FTOs, as you call them. Expand upon the satisfaction of going into one of those situations and spearheading its transition.
The beginning, there's not a lot of satisfaction at the beginning. There's a lot of pain at the beginning because you look around with what you got and you're kind of thinking, you have to take a step back and think, what can we do? What are the small things that we can do right off the bat to start improving the product? And then while you're distracting membership with the conditions being so much better, you're able to go and move some of the bigger building blocks behind the scenes, right? When it comes to irrigation, drainage, and taking on all those other issues with the club. But the satisfaction in the end is addictive. To be honest, it's addictive. It makes you not want to. It makes you not want to go to a place that has everything figured out. It almost makes you want to continue to go on and fix clubs that have been failing. There are turf operations that have been failing. And I want to be clear when I say that the turf operations are not always failing because the golf course superintendent is dropping the ball. I was always told one of my favorite quotes is, you can tell a lot about a person by the way they talk about the guy who did the job before them. And I never been the guy to come in and say, oh, the superintendent has done such a terrible job here, and here's why ABC. Because we all know there's situations that go on behind the scenes that contribute to an operation going downhill. It's not always the superintendent. A lot of times it's the relationship between the super and the owners, and maybe a communication breakdown between the two. So it's in short, it's always exciting, I find, to do that. Now in my career, I'm 38 now. I don't know if I have I don't know how many FTOs I have left in me to go and do the next step for me. And naturally, I think most of us should always be aspiring to go on to private clubs, right? That's what we want to do, end up there at the end, right? And for me, I feel like I've been a caterpillar long enough. I think it's time to be a butterfly eventually. So I think, and I'm not saying that doing that and restoring golf courses' reputations is less than. But I think ultimately I'd like to do something that's kind of more the end game in what we do in turf grass maintenance.
So Anthony, I wanted to ask you a little bit about ClubLink. You mentioned it a few times there in your career and working with them.
Yeah, so ClubLink's it's very unique to Canada. I'm not 100% sure how things go in the United States, but I can tell you for Canada, ClubLink is, as far as I know, the biggest conglomerate of golf courses that are incorporated. So under one membership, you can play, I think they're at 30 something golf courses now. And the number is growing. I think they just acquired 2 new ones this past season, but it's a very unique company in terms of what they offer the golfer for the golf experience they offer, because one membership allows you to play basically all over Ontario, and they actually have some clubs in Quebec also. and Ottawa region too, which people from the GTA, it almost seems like another planet. I know that you're from that, but so it's a unique business because it allows the golfer to have like for the same price, and don't quote me because I'm sure the prices have changed since I was with ClubLink, but for a pretty good price, almost what you'd compare a one club private membership, you get the opportunity to play whichever courses you want. So and if you can't get a time one place, you can get a time somewhere else. So it really maximizes the short seasons that we have up here. And then from a turf operations standpoint, ClubLink is a great company. It was a great company because we had a lot of resources that we could share with one another. So like if I needed an aerator and my aerator was down, I could call up my neighboring golf club and have it floated over. Had a 648 floated over to finish my greens on Friday or something. You know what I mean? So, and they're a united group. So the superintendents are very much an organization, a team. So you can always call on them. You can always call on, your fellow superintendent to help you out, which, is a microcosm to how it is in general, like with golf course superintendents, but within ClubLink, it's pretty handy. And you had Andrew at the time, you had Andrew Keffer as kind of the quarterback of it all. So he would come see you, you get a good understanding of what type of budget you had to work with, and he let you know what was going on at the other clubs too. So it was pretty good. It's a great organization. So
While we're on things unique to Canada, your regulations up there are a little stricter than they are here in the States as far as use of different chemical products. Talk about some of the challenges of having your hands tied behind your back to face some of these challenges, agronomically speaking.
that's a great question.
That is a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. I just had my audit yesterday, so it's funny that this came up now. But yeah, we had our audit yesterday, and I was actually talking about this to the auditor because the auditors that verify all of our applications for the seasons are an outside company. They don't have an agronomic or an agricultural background, so I was actually talking to her after the audit was done, and I said, there's a product coming off the market, chlorothalonil, which you guys obviously are really familiar with. It's so tried, so true, so tested in our industry, right? And it's one of the only multi-site products on the market anymore. So for it to be we're getting restricted from it now. I think we have one more year to use it after this. So I stocked up a little bit and I have enough for this year and next year. But I was explaining to the auditor that the more tools that we have taken away from us chemically actually increases the amount of spraying that we have to do to make it between these intervals of 14 to 21 or 28 days. And if I said, do the math. So if the only exposure to the environment and to the operator is during actually applying chemical, if we have to apply more times at, a lesser efficacy, then aren't we exposing the environment to more chemical more often? So, and she didn't answer me. She didn't answer me, and she put me in contact. I haven't been able to actually reach out, but she put me in contact with the PMRA. So I'm going to have a conversation with them soon and voice my kind of opinion about it. But the biggest challenge has been losing some of the controls that we've had. Most of them have been fungicides. We've been not too bad with, but it's more insecticides. Like I know I can't tell you how many guys are battling ants right now. And we have no real way or real tools to combat ants, and which is a shame because it's such an impact on play. So, but I mean, I've started the last couple of years because I've been seeing kind of the writing on the wall, reaching out to my old mentors like Wayne Rath, Ian McQueen at St. George's, and a few other guys, and they've put me on to more of a biological approach to chemical application. And so, lessening the amount of pesticides we're actually using and kind of preparing yourself for a time when we don't have any tools to combat disease with. Jeff Stoffer over at Rosedale is another contact I keep in touch with pretty closely. And he's a guy who, is on the humic acid, the fulvic acid, and just trying to lessen nitrogen inputs, and then just go with straight biologics, and try and get by. So he's a steward of that. And I got to thank Wayne and Ian for that. They've helped me kind of increase the efficacy of the products I am using so that I don't have to go out as often or I have options.
What do you think financially? What's the impact going to be on your budget? You mentioned potentially having to spray more frequently. Is that going to impact the bottom line?
I think the problem too, yeah, I mean, it will. I think the problem mostly is that because we're going to be limited in our chemistries, that we're probably going to develop some more resistance. So we're probably going to have to go in spray in between intervals, especially the pressure that we've got here in Southern Ontario, specifically right now where I am at Granite Ridge. We're in an area with tremendous dollar spot pressure and apparently Pythium pressure too, which I didn't know until last month.
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. I found out, so I've never seen it before. So that was in 26 years. This is the first time he's seen it. So I
That
think,
video you sent us was pretty intense. It was
oh man,
gnarly.
yeah, it was surprising and testing and humbling too. So yeah, so because what, it's funny. Side note about that about Pythium is that I'll admit I always thought that getting Pythium and having issues like that were a problem that was a management issue. Like, you didn't have the right chemical in your rotation. You didn't see it. Why didn't this guy see it coming? You know what I mean? But there's not a lot you can do. Like you get the perfect storm of weather and you're getting it. Like, and there's guys out Windsor way, which they prepare for it every year because they get it constantly. So I'm realizing more and more that it's not the turf manager, it's more where they're at in their environment. But to answer your question about applying chemical, I do think we will be, and I think we will have to make adjustments to our budget and spending more. I know here at Granite, we're a 36-hole facility. This place has never traditionally sprayed their fairways for dollar spot. So I did my first year here, I did one application on fairways because it would look like coffee cake out there on the fairways. So I had to do something the first year. And then now I've introduced them to two. The second year, I introduced 2 fairway sprays, and now I'm up to 3. But it's nice because the fairways here you call them virgin fairways. They haven't been sprayed. So an old technology like chlorothalonil that guys know will only last them 14 days could last us 28 days here because the turf, it's not a trick that the turf knows here. But yeah, I think in general we could prepare to spend more money for sure if they keep taking tools away from us. Absolutely.
I hope you are enjoying another episode of Turf Today. Hi, I'm Matt Pauli with Standard Golf Company, and we are a proud supporter of Turf Today and golf course superintendents around the world. Standard Golf is the leading manufacturer of golf course accessories such as cups, flags, flag sticks, tee markers, bunker rates, driving range equipment, and all the maintenance tools you need to maintain a beautiful golf course. From tee to green and everything in between, Standard Golf is your premier accessories and maintenance tool provider. And now, back to your episode of Turf Today.
So I got to go back to Magna Golf Club, which is legendary here in Ontario. I remember hearing a lot of stories about that course when I went to school. Tell us about the staff baseball games there.
Yeah. So part of the nuance of having a staff of, I mean, I would say 40 for sure on turf. Plus we had a gardening staff. I'd say altogether we're probably like 65 people. So they had great kind of amenities and opportunities for us outside of the golf course. So one of them was that they own a park that's, I don't know, probably about 5 kilometers from the golf course, and it has to be 1,000 acres. This property is just gigantic, and it's got a lake on it, and it has baseball diamonds. And every Thursday, it might have been every Thursday or every other Thursday, we'd have baseball. So our turf staff would either play like an intramural team or a game against themselves, or we'd play like the clubhouse staff. Like we would organize a game every Thursday, but because Friday's a work day, it was always a slippery slope because, and our staff being, 19 years old to 23 max, like there was a lot of alcohol involved, and we would go down by the lake and have.
They're not taking that substance away from you, are they?
No, that's not something to take away. Definitely not in Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, our parties would go late into the night, and I just remember one of the memories I got, funny memories, is just coming in the morning late on the Friday after, everyone knows where you were the night before. It's not like you were up studying, right? Like, so, or it's not like you were up church, everyone knew where you were. So I remember coming in the morning and Wayne Rath, great guy. But I remember him just looking at us, looking at me, looking at his watch, and then looking at me again, and then walking out of the room. or or he would look at me, look at his watch, and then he'd whisper over to his assistant, Dave Patterson, and then Dave would come over and talk to us. So it was just an interesting. Just looking at the look of disappointment in his face every time we came in late was funny to look back on, definitely.
That's awesome. So I know you're kind of a big team culture guy. How do those little things like playing baseball with, other guys on the team, how do those little things make an impact in creating that culture within your crew?
Oh man, it's a lot easier to be. I'd say it's a lot easier to be hard on people on Monday morning when you've had an event like that the week before, where everyone's hanging out and having a great time. Like I remember, like my parents were in the bakery business for a really long time, and that's a pretty strict business too. And I remember being told about that. You can't always give them the whip. You got to get the carrot sometimes too. And I feel like that saying really translates well into our business because whether you like it or not, you have to write it. You have to run a tight organization for it to translate onto the golf course. You just won't get the product out there that you want if you're not, strict or organized anyway. So I find those types of staff team building events, to call them, are crucial. Like you need to have. So like ours today, we're having our barbecue. We're having golf later this afternoon, and I just think it's something that lets everybody wind down a little bit from the grind. Like it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. So it's like you really got to kind of alleviate that stress somehow along the way. And I think those baseball games are great. And I like to challenge other golf courses, but that hasn't been happening a lot lately. I don't know why. Every time I try and organize something, it falls through. But we used to organize incredible games against other golf courses. Like it was a lot of fun. And I remember my old boss used to hire. He'd specifically ask you if you had any baseball experience when he was hiring you. He was subconsciously trying to create a team of ringers to go up against other golf courses and just totally annihilate other clubs. So I mean, I love doing it. Honestly, I really love doing it. I just wish it would happen a little bit more. And if anybody's listening to this that's in this area that'd like to challenge Granite Ridge Golf Club to a game of baseball, we're in.
We've had a lot of baseball ties, I feel like, on the show over the last 8 months or so. We've had a bunch of guys with some semi-pro baseball backgrounds, so you might get some takers.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't see too many golfers going into baseball, though. I guess it just works so well the other way.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny you said that. I actually have had a few. I had one young lady who was Ontario like offset champ pitcher. So and she played on our team too. Yeah, I've had a few. I actually have a kid on my staff right now who's really young, and he's actually in the running now it's apparently in the running for a competition with Sports Illustrated magazine, and he plays baseball semi-professionally right now. So
oh wow,
sweet,
that's awesome. So those young people that you have on your staff, a person like the young man you just mentioned, do you try to steer them into this industry? How do you kind of guide them along?
So it's funny. I've had a few people leave after working for me and have gone on to be assistant superintendents and head superintendents at other clubs. I've never really pushed it on anyone, but I find that almost every year or every couple of years anyway, there's always someone who comes to me and says, I was going to school for XYZ and I wanted to see if there's any opportunity within turf, for me. And I never stop them. I always tell them how they should go about doing it and achieving, but I always push them towards construction first, like I was saying before. I always try and push them into working construction, just setting themselves up for just trying to hone in on their work ethic and kind of tightening that up so that they have it. Because I find that the turf, I mean, as amazing as business has been to me, it can be a little bit sometimes monotonous. And you go through the same type of um, how do I put it? You go through the same type of maintenance schedule every year, right? So I wanted to, when someone does come up to me and says that they want to do this for a living, I always push them to kind of the same thing that I was pushed to do, which is kind of see every aspect of the business, construction, other private clubs, stuff like that. So, but I
Is
definitely
it
embrace it.
is it something you strive for? I know you mentioned all the mentors that you've had along the way. Is that something you strive to be for other people?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I say something, I always think back in my head, like, is this kid going to repeat this in a podcast in 10 years from now? You know what I mean? Like, I always think like, like,
Oh, the world has changed.
Yeah.
exactly. So it's just, I do think of it. I do think of it a lot more. I'm more cognizant of it now. Like when I say stuff to people, I'm thinking, these kids are, if they're going to go into this for a living, they might be thinking about this 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road, something that I taught them. So I've become more aware of the fact that I'm actually becoming kind of more of a mentor than I thought I was going to be in the beginning. Like it's just organically kind of happening. It's not something I strive to be. It's just kind of now being in the business now 20 some odd years that it's sort of falling into place on its own.
Yeah.
Which
Don't think of yourself that way. Still think of yourself as the young pup out on the golf course.
I do. I do. And I'm sure the guys like Wayne and Ian, all these guys I'm explaining, I'm sure they felt the same way too. I don't think that they thought they were being mentors along the way. I thought they were just, I'm sure they were just focused on doing the job right. And the byproduct was creating super intense in the meantime. And I think that's what's happened to me too. Like I had a young guy working for me, Nick Turner. He was in school to be an electrician, and he was about to go to school to be an electrician. He was 18 years old, and he worked for me one summer in Innisfil, and he just said, "I'm not going to school for that anymore. I'm going to school for turf." Gave him a big hug. I'm like, man, I was like, that just it came full circle there. And now he's the assistant superintendent he did the assistant superintendent job at Weston Golf Club. That's down the west end of the city. And now he's kind of central in the city at Bayview Golf and Country Club. And he's very much managerially responsible there, which is cool to see.
It's awesome. So many natural leaders in our industry. It just kind of comes with what we do. You did mention a lot of the leaders and mentors you've had. I'm just interested to know if there's a piece of leadership advice that you wish you'd had learned earlier in your career.
It's a good question. A tough one I didn't prepare for. I was told always to leave the golf course in better shape than I found it, no matter how that was, and to count all the small wins. And I've always been a type of guy that really I have high expectations and I really want things to go, noticeably well right away. And I'm a bit impatient. And that advice, I never really took it to heart until recently. Over the years, I just felt like I needed to always overachieve and get my results really, really quickly. But I think that whole like stop and smell the roses, take the small wins approach is something I probably should have paid attention to and applied to my life a little bit better than trying to, always, overdo it and over succeed. And it's more like at Innisfil Creek, I had good examples like at Innisfil Creek, we were hitting home runs all the time because we were taking a place from, the rudimentary stages of a golf course to where it ended up. And then here at Granite Ridge, the golf course was not in that bad condition when I got here. So we're now hitting doubles. Here we're not hitting home runs anymore. So it's you got to count the small wins, and that's something that now at Granite Ridge, because things were a little bit better off here when I got here, that I'm able to appreciate. So
Take me back to the first time you had the reins. You were the person in charge. I hear you got an interesting story your first week as the boss.
no, man, I hope Andrew Keffer's not listening, and I hope Dave Witt is not listening. Those are two guys I hope are not listening right now. So that was like, so it was my first weekend to work. I was working at Diamondback Golf Club, and I was never an assistant superintendent. I actually went right from laborer to superintendent. I never worked as an assistant, but I wasn't. I guess you'd call it a second assistant or pseudo assistant there at Diamondback. And so my first weekend there, I'm really excited. Can't wait to show off my skills, my managerial skills. So anyway, I Saturday morning, and a tree went down. So I came in and a tree was down over number 12 green, which is kind of a treed in hole. And so this maple tree, a section of this maple tree is across the green. So we kind of moved it out of the way a little bit, but I was changing holes, so we couldn't do much. I kind of just moved the hole to the front and until we were done our shift so that we can go and buck up the tree. And you know what? It could have waited probably, but I really wanted to show my chainsaw skills and I really wanted to show that I can handle it and all that. So took two of our staff members. One of them was named Ross, and the other one I can't quite remember his name. But so anyway, I had one of them get the super tilt trailer, and the other one get an old case skid steer, which I'm sure is still there, that was 100% unsafe to use, and I should have known better. But I said, Ross, you've used the super tilt before, so go grab the super tilt. And I had this other kid. I said, oh, I don't. You've never used the skid steer. He said, no. I've used a skid steer before. My dad has a construction company, and I've used a skid steer before. Don't worry, I know how to use it. And I'm like, oh, okay, like let's do it. Let's do this. I went and I bucked the tree up, and they hauled it up, and I had that one hole to change back after we moved the tree off the green. So we loaded up the super tilt, and I said, no matter what you do, don't go up 13 hill. There's a hill that's notorious for just being super steep and unsafe. Don't go up 13 hill. Okay, I swear I won't. So anyway, they go off fully loaded, and I continue changing the one hole I have left. Changing the hole, and all of a sudden somebody comes out of the woods running at me. Okay, screaming. At first I thought it was a woman and they were soaked. Okay, like head to so I actually did one of these. Like I stepped back. Like yeah, I thought he was gonna rush me. Like I didn't know this guy like, came out of nowhere, right? So I was scared for a second until he got closer to me and I realized it was actually the kid that I sent away on the Bobcat.
Oh,
And
jeez.
he's screaming and he falls to his knees and he's like, "Oh my God, Anthony, I'm so sorry." He just crying and bawling his eyes out. And I said, "What's wrong? And Ross, the other kid I sent up, is not in the picture. He's not around. So I'm assuming
Yeah, he left.
no, I'm thinking, did he hurt this guy? What happened? He's like, and I said, calm down, what's wrong? The skid steer's in the pond. I'm like, oh man, where?
Nice.
On 13. On 13. I'm like,
Oh.
he's like, and so anyway, I found out from him that after he went up this hill, and I don't know if the safeties gave out on this unit, but it freewheeled backwards into the pond. And he's lucky. We're extremely lucky that he was okay because he actually broke free. He was submerged underwater in the unit with his lap belts down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and swum. Luckily he weighed about 100 pounds. He got out of the safeties and swam up to the top. And so I had to call the superintendent back in. And he had gone to Michigan to watch. Well, I think he went to go watch some motorsports event that was going on down there. He had to turn around and come back from Michigan just to deal with this on my first weekend off.
Oh,
It was like I couldn't have failed on a more grand scheme than that. You know what I mean? And I tried. And it was a huge mistake. And I learned so much about making sure people are trained and that you're always doing the right thing. Unfortunately, it took something like that for me to learn it, but I never made the mistake again. Anyway, that's the story there. So,
wow.
That's an all-timer. Good for him.
yeah. Good
And
kid.
those things are resilient too. You're right. It's probably still parked in the back there.
Oh, I imagine it is.
Okay, so we just had our big flash of lightning go by there, and we need to apologize. I guess last episode somebody sent me a message that we spilt their coffee by just playing a flash of lightning through the middle of the episode, but that's what happens when you have a lightning round. This lightning round is powered by Flash Weather AI. Your heads up before the skies light up, and download the new app, which is very popular today. All right, Anthony, just quick answers here. Favorite piece of equipment to run on the golf course?
Oh, my 648. It's brand new. We just got one. I mean, they've really come a long way with the unit, and any excuse I can go out to punch something, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. And to plug Toro on the show is always good. We like that.
Absolutely.
Least favorite task on the golf course?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. changing holes. Or a set of the most scrutinized in the business, I'd say.
Yeah. Are you a hot coffee guy or cold energy drink?
Hot coffee,
Hot coffee, yeah. Black?
espresso.
Espresso. Ooh, okay, there you go. There you go. One turf term that sounds made up, but that's actually real.
Green side up. I mean, if I hear it one more time, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
That's great.
Okay, a couple more here. Favorite time of day for you on the golf course?
Um, I would say honestly 3 p.m. on Friday.
3 p.m. on Friday.
And it's not because we're going home. I just think the course looks the best at 3 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah, that's prime time. All right, last one. Any hidden talents or hobbies outside of turf?
Hobbies. My hobbies are super nerdy. I'm a real avid record collector. I have
Ooh.
tons of records. I like to restore old record players. And I collect TTC memorabilia. It's so nerdy. Just I've been a city guy, and the TTC, I don't know if you know, is our transit system here. I like to collect a lot of transit stuff. So probably why I'm still single today, but
I'm going to throw one other question in that lightning round.
Yeah, get it in there.
What's your cigar brand?
me, oh, my father's cigar is one of my favorite, Flor de Antillas. It's like my favorite cigar. It's a box cut cigar. Oh my God, I love it. Like now you're making me want one. It's
I see the ashtray there with the Igor box, and
yeah, I'm really into that. It's my favorite. That's definitely my favorite cigar. And my dad used to smoke cigars when growing up, and kind of got bit by that early on. He used to like Monte Cristos, and I started on those, and now yeah, that's definitely my favorite. So good question. How about you? Do you smoke cigars?
I'm whatever's handed to me.
I see.
Yeah.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, I'm a Zen guy, so I keep these things around at all times. Unfortunately, my
Nice.
wife loves it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What's in the tank behind you?
So those are piranhas. So I had four. They've been to the last three golf courses that I've been at. They've been with me. Now I've only got one. The others have died sadly. I picked a piranha because I wanted a fish that represented our type of work culture here at Granite. So I think the ferocious nature of a piranha would fit in perfectly here.
That'd be our first turf fish we've had on the show.
Yeah,
I think it is.
He's super talented with a fish tank in his office. I'm just saying, but
oh, it's pretty badass, especially being a piranha. Like,
yeah.
Hey, can I feed the fish?
I wasn't expecting that. I couldn't tell if there was water in there or not. I wasn't sure if I was going to see like a lizard come through or what was going on back there. But
my piranhas.
Love it.
He's a man of many different hats. So we also got to ask you about you were in a Toro video back in 2001. It was a safety training video.
Yeah, so I actually remembered that I was in it. I had forgotten that I was in it. So someone was talking on my staff who actually used to work for Clublink, and he said that there's a staff training video that he's got a VHS of, and he's like, I have it at home because it's still in the wrapper. And I said, wait a minute. I go, I think I'm in that video because they filmed it at Station Creek in 2001, and they asked me, like, I guess they were scrambling last minute to find someone to play a role of one of these safety guys, and my job was to push a dummy out of a cart while making a turn.
Nice.
So I looked it up on YouTube, and it's still available as training material out there. So I mean, I encourage listeners to take a look at it. I mean, I should have won an Oscar for my performance on it. I hope my sales guy Bill Martell's listening too, because I'd like for him to dig it up and take a look.
That's awesome.
We're gonna have to get our hands on that footage for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to include that in the YouTube version.
Mm-hmm.
Please do and tag me in it.
That's awesome.
Every great course starts with what's beneath your feet. At the Andersons, they know turf isn't just grass, it's a canvas. Their fertilizers, soil enhancers, and precision technologies are built for those who demand more from every acre. Because every blade matters, every detail counts, and excellence doesn't happen by chance. Follow the Andersons today on Instagram at Andersons Pro.
I was going to say, did you have to give him your resume as like a broadcast journalism person? You know, a nice transition for your acting career?
No, absolutely not. I couldn't have been less qualified for that role, I don't think. If you saw if you saw it, you'll have to see it. Oh my God.
Well, you better believe we're taking a deep dive this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not stopping until we find it. This is your episode here, Anthony. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any topics you want to address here before we let you roll?
Right now, the club that I'm at, Granite Ridge Golf Club, I haven't really talked about them very much, but it's a really busy 36-hole golf course. They do about 67,000 rounds a year, and it's really new to me to kind of have to run a golf course this big. So there's not many properties in our area that are 36 holes. I know of only a couple. But I'd encourage anyone listening that works on a big facility to, reach out to me, and maybe we can commiserate a little bit on some of the challenges of running an organization kind of this big and two properties at once. So been very different from what I've done in the past. And, even I'm learning as I go along, just how complicated it can be having two courses.
How many people do you have for 36 holes?
I'm 32 right now.
Okay.
I mean, I know it seems like a lot, but we are spread pretty thin.
Oh yeah.
And just being such a busy tournament golf course, like I think in September, we don't have a single day that doesn't have a shotgun or a double shotgun.
Wow.
And then June had a shotgun, double shotgun, or a crossover before a shotgun every single day of June. So the challenges are there, man. Like it's hard to get everything cut in time. And I mean, we're talking about the basics. Like it's hard to get the basics done. So
That course is getting used.
and the course is going through it too, right? Which
Yeah.
I'm not used to either. And then just like having it is handy sometimes because you get like the extra. You can take care of one course when there's a shotgun on the other course, but then it does also push public play onto the other course too, right? So I mean, yeah, like I guess what I would say is like if there's anyone out there that's working on 36-hole property, like I would love to talk to them. Like I would love to see what they do. I have a few contacts or friends of mine that have done it or are still doing it, but yeah, it's definitely unique and it offers you a different perspective of the business. So,
Yeah, every property's different. Everybody's got their own challenges, but adding holes and just expanding things would make it difficult. So good on
Yeah.
you for moving up and being able to take on something like that, more staff to kind of mentor and work through. And, if you have sights on other things in your career, this will just help you. So
Thanks. Yeah, we're taking on a little construction project right now. I'm doing a little nursery, so I'm doing a 30 by 90 nursery. This property doesn't have a nursery, and we've had a few situations where we've had some damage to greens and vandalism and whatnot. So I decided to build a nursery that with kind of the same practices you'd use to build a T deck, and it's to be shaped and the same elevation as a T deck. So I'm keeping myself busy with that type of stuff too. Like I like to, it's for me, it's not just maintenance. I like to rent a bulldozer once in a while and build a T deck. Like do something,
I was gonna say, is that just to get your construction fix? You just kind of make up some projects. Like I got to get on something, man.
we need a pound over here.
I even called one of the owners the other day and I said, would you miss this back T deck on number 2? Like, would you miss it if it was gone? Like, because we need soil to build that nursery, I would like to borrow it from here if I could. So yeah, I get, I'm not bored, but it's like, I do have that kind of urge in me to take construction on. I always will.
Yeah, it's always fun ripping stuff up.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Well, this has been outstanding, Anthony. Like I said, appreciate you jumping on here and spending some time with us. Great to meet you here virtually and look forward to crossing paths with you at some point down the road.
Likewise, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was really great. Great meeting you guys.
Get to your barbecue and your golf, man.
Yeah, if there's anything
Enjoy a
left-
day. Enjoy a cigar. You did a great job.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
All right,
care,
man.
Anthony.
Take care. We'll see you, Anthony.
Oh, and he
Always
closes
love
the laptop.
Yeah, I mean, I always love
Best way to
those.
do it. Best
Yeah.
way to do it.
It's
I always
the
tell
mic
myself I'm
drop.
going to do it on like a Zoom call or like a meeting with somebody, and I never do. But it's such a power move.
You have to do it forcefully so you can hear it close.
Yeah. Just snap at a laptop.
Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Take care.
All right, see you. Bye.
That's going to do it for another episode of Turf Today. We want to thank the Turf Boss for joining us on this one. Everybody, keep those reels sharp. We are right in the heat of the summer, and we are almost through it. Stick with this track here. You'll be fist pumping on the mower any minute.